I want to tell you a little bit about my impressions about how to change the current publication system into maybe a novel, decentralized world. And to start my talk, I want to show you a little comic. That's a little frog, you know, very happy in a little glass pond. And I ask myself how to kill the frog. Why do I want to kill the frog? Because the frog basically is the current publication system. And now you have two possibilities to kill this frog. You can either hit it very fast, but then the chance is high that he recognizes that I want to kill him, so he will jump out. I won't reach my goal. Or I can make it gentle, and then maybe he's getting warmer and warmer, and at some point he will die. And that's my approach, you know. It's my approach. The gentle heating until he's dead. So the frog is basically the publication system, and how do we change it? I mean, currently, as we already heard this morning in 2 sessions, the publication system is pretty messed up, very unfair, highly centralized. You have commercial publishers which basically gain all the money, the scientists work for them. This is the current state, and the dream state is this fully decentralized system. You know, everybody organizes himself without any middleman. This is basically the state which we technically can do. Philip talked about this morning, you know, DeSci Labs, DeSci World. But this is, I think, not a point that we can reach so far, and I will tell you why. So first, I will I will show you how the current system works, a little bit more detailed than the people discussed this morning. So I'm a scientist, I want to publish my work. I'm a pretty progressive scientist, so I can submit my article on a kind of preprint server, like archive, you know, as a programmer maybe. So it's open source, but it's unmature. It hasn't been reviewed, so people don't really trust this content. So I have to submit it to a scientific paper, a chemistry paper, where I can make sure that they send it out to like peers. They review my paper, and then they say if this paper will fit into this journal or not, from a quality point of view. So if you submit this to a very high quality journal, such as Nature, Nature Chemistry, whatever, the chances are very high, usually like greater 80%, that this paper gets rejected. So it gets back to me, I have to deal with it again, and then go to the next paper, which is maybe in quality 1 step below. In chemistry, this would be, for example, Angewandte Chemie. It's a Wiley journal. Okay? I'm happy now. On the second stage, the reviewers say, yeah, this is a quality that fits to the content, so you can publish it. And at the end, I have my paper, but I have different problems, because now I don't know who the reviewer were. It's very intransparent. And at the end, the authors get no reimbursement. The whole copyright and license agreements usually are with the publishers. It's a good business for them, as you already heard this morning. This is a very conservative estimation, so usually the commercial publishers, they have margins of greater 20%. Some people say greater 30%. However, it's a good business. That's, I think, the common sense. And it's, we have annual revenues of about $10 billion per year, which they make based on scientific knowledge. This is the one thing. The other thing is the reviewing process. So if I send this paper to a journal, it gets reviewed by my peers, other professors at other universities, and they also do this work for free. So basically, you know, I get paid by the state of Bremen or the state of Germany. How you like it? And the estimate is that in summary, if you calculate all this time that researchers spend on reviewing articles, usually it takes like 2, 3, 4 hours, sometimes a day, if you want to make it really good. If you calculate all these hours, you get a number of roughly $2 to $6 billion a year, which you basically also donate to these publishers, right? A little bit shitty. Okay, so making a long story short, it's a one-way street, right? The scientists, they give away all their effort, they give away all their properties, and at the end, these guys, they collect all the money, basically. So even though everybody is aware, and the scientists, they hate this system, it's still alive. And it's still alive since, I would say, 20, 30 years. So why are the chemists so stupid, even though they have these preprint servers, for example, which they can use, where they could spread their articles for free and without paying something to somebody? Well, it's because preprint servers don't give you any reputation. And you are lacking this review process. You have no quality, or you have no quality assurance, and you have no reputation. But that's what you want. Why do you want this? Because of this. As a scientist, you want to make, or you usually want to make, an academic career, right? You start with your PhD, you do your postdoc, then you are a group leader, and at the end, maybe, if you're lucky, you get a full professorship. Okay, so if you want to climb this ladder, somebody needs to evaluate you at some point. And also, at the end, if you are a professor, it's not that you just can, relax and do nothing. You still have to apply for grants. If you apply for grants, somebody needs to evaluate you, and he needs some metrics. There are several metrics available. For example, alt metric is a very direct metric, which is directly attached to your article. But it's very, let's say, granular. So every article has its own metric point, and then it's very hard for a committee to judge this. Then you have an H-index. H-index is a scientist-related metric. But here the flaw is, in particular for young scientists, that the H-index is basically the number, like the highest number H of a researcher's article, each cited at least H times. So meaning, if I have, this is a number from me, I have 31 articles, which in each article is cited 31 times. If I would now want to have an H-index of 32, there must be a 32nd article, and each of the other articles also need to be cited 32 times. So it's a metric which is very, very hard to gain at some point. And then, that's the easiest or the most convenient metric, which you can easily evaluate, is the impact factor of a journal. So usually, if you have an article in a high impact factor journal, people think that this article is also good, which is not the case always, can be shitty, but at least you are swimming in a nice pool, of other maybe better articles. So why do people use this impact factor? Because at the end, if you are part of such an evaluation committee, which I am right now, actually overhead to hire a new professor in Bremen, people just don't have time. You have 30, 40 applications. Each application is 50 pages long. They send you article lists with 20, 30, 40 articles. So you basically need to evaluate each candidate within, let's say, 10 to 20 minutes or something. And there's no way that you can read through all these papers and then make an own quality assessment, in particular, if they're not in your field. So you need something fast. And the impact factor is the best metric where you can evaluate somebody fast. Because you just look up the last 1 or 2 years. Yeah, okay, this guy has a Science and Nature paper. He must be good. That's done. Fine. And it's even worse. If you don't have a paper in an international journal, peer review, you cannot apply, or you're never ever hired, because there's a strict rule that you need to have this. So it's basically an academic suicide if you don't publish in these journals. That's man-made by the universities. They make these rules. So in particular, the young guys, which you can get because they are maybe more progressive than the 60-year-olds, maybe early in front of their retirement, you cannot get them because they have to rely most on these metrics, on the impact factor. So how can you solve this problem? And this was my idea. I think you should keep, that's heating the pond, the publishers in business as long as possible, but maybe try to introduce these new technologies we have, DLT, blockchain, rewarding systems, and then keep the people used to it, and then at some point, just cut it. That's the idea behind it, and then the frog is dead. So with this system, you still would have the reputation, but you introduce the new technology. And this is why I came up with this project, OpenSci. It's a meanwhile publicly funded project. So we got funding from the German state. The BMBF, it's 3 partners. The scientific partner is the University of Bremen. That's where I live. Then we have the Hochschule mit Weida. They have a strong blockchain educational system. So they deliver some of the machine learning algorithms that we need. And then we have Tockenforge, a company that assures that everything runs smoothly in terms of UI, UX, and they also have a lot of professional blockchain expertise. Because the least thing we want to do is like a 90s style internet, web application, because then you're gone. At the end, people should be desired to use the platform. We want to make a good feeling if you want to publish a publication. For example, nowadays it's still, for most of these publishers, if you publish a paper, it takes me like 1 to 2 hours. Just submit a PDF file and add some metadata. Come on, that's not state of the art. So that's the architecture of this platform. So basically, on this platform, the idea is you have 3 different roles. I will just walk you through the working flow. First of all, the scientist just can publish his paper like he would do on a normal preprint server. We also will make shunts from existing preprint servers to our preprint server. It will be fully open access, but it's just, as with preprint servers, it's not fully evaluated. So it's just raw material, basically. And then, with the publication, a token will be minted, a license token, which then later can be sold to a commercial publisher. So when will this article be sold? It will be sold when the scientist decides that he wants to evaluate the publication on the platform. In this case, it's just a click of a button. An algorithm will run, and based on keyword search, whatever, he will search automatically reviewers for you. So there's no middleman that selects out of a database. Well, for Mr. Nachtsheim, I think we should take this and this one because we really have the term assassins. So like reviewers where the journalists know that they will assassinate everything that comes in. And so they have a great power, They have a great power. They are middlemen. So we take this middleman out at this point, slightly. And then when the paper is evaluated and the reviewers accept the changes that the author has made, it comes into a roaming world. And this is the marketplace. This is the heart of our platform. And this roaming world is only visible for commercial publishers. Right? It's like a pot with articles evaluated. And now they can make bids on these articles and purchase a license to publish this article on their platform. So I see their role as quality scouts. If they are very smart, I mean, with this system, it's a linear workflow. They don't have to deal with any rejections anymore. So it has a huge, huge advantage for them as well. Because, I mean, look, 80% rejection means for you as a journal editor or whatever, 80% work wasted. With this system, even though you have to pay something at some time, you still can save a lot of money if you have a good scouting system here. So then, let's say one of these guys wants to purchase it, and then, in this case of a purchasing event, and only then, money is transferred, a part of the purchase price, to the reviewers, which did the reviewing process, and of course to the author, or if desired, to the author's institution, like the university, the Max Planck, whatever. No. Okay, then at the end, because we also want to provide this whole open access idea, if the publisher then has an open access model, then it's fine. It will be only visible open access on their platform. If not, we will put it in the last vault. So this will be a so-called AAM, so an author accepted manuscript. It's the manuscript basically reviewed, but without, the fancy looking stuff from Nature or whatever. So it's basically, it's raw, but it only looks raw. From the content, it's the same as this one, if it's a subscription model. But meanwhile, anyway, they have to change their business. So, we did this, I didn't talk about this, we did this on the BlockSplit blockchain. We want to do this on the BlockSplit blockchain. Why? This is on purpose because if you discuss with colleagues, I want to do something with blockchain, then you already get, oh, blockchain, man, no, I don't want a Bitcoin, no blockchain. I don't want to own some shitty ApeCoin, PIC, NFTs, whatever, or some meme coin, dogs with heads, Dogecoin, whatever. So you need to have trust. And if you say, okay, we do this on a DLT, run by universities which all have nodes and it's permissioned, so not everybody can run a node. It's a closed system built by universities, then they're fine. And that's a thing I think that we need to be aware of, how you basically claim what you are doing. They're not interested in all this technology. They don't care. They want one thing: fast publication in a good journal without much effort. So if you provide them a good UX where they can publish their paper fast and directly get submitted to like internationally renowned publisher, then they're fine. The technical background, if it's a blockchain or whatever chain, doesn't matter for them. So we shouldn't claim it. It's just confusing for most of the scientists. So at the end, you basically, and that's important, you have not only advantages for the scientists, but also for the publishers. As I told you, the scientists, they have a linear workflow, so they can save time. They still have the reputation. They can gain rewards if these manuscripts are accepted. And also, which I didn't mention yet, it's very important that at the end, the scientist always is the owner of his content. So if, for example, a journal bids on the article, and you don't want your article to be published in this journal, you always can say no. So you say where you want to sell the article to. Of course, the universities, they can get some reimbursement, and the reviewers as well, they finally get reimbursed for the effort that they have. So at the end, this OpenSci project is only the beginning. I also founded a company, OpenSci GmbH, and at the end we want to build a whole ecosystem which will make the life of scientists hopefully easier. We're just launching another product, Needle AI. So if you're interested, just have a look at the homepage, just online since last week. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed my talk, and happy to answer some questions.
So that was a lot of information, so forgive me if I missed something here. But I think I write quite a bit about education, and I see in my industry that there are so many like BS studies being passed around and really influencing people's lives. And so I'm
which studies? I didn't get
just
it.
Just any studies, like studies in my industry.
Yeah.
Like all the time on Twitter, this study from this university, and not very well reviewed. And so when I see, okay, it's in Nature, I assume, okay, it must be well reviewed. I know this is not really your product, but I want to know, like, how do you think about the review process? And it just seems so critical that, people are not really being taught how to review articles themselves and think critically. So are you interested in supporting that process of making it, like, it seems like popularity is not a good review structure if everything is based on popularity. And so how do you think about, like, making sure that accurate information is getting published?
I mean, at the end, we still want to stick to like a blind peer review, so you don't know the reviewers, right? And in this case, they should be incentivized to make the manuscript better, because they will get an incentive, but only if it's sold. So it doesn't, for example, sometimes when I submit a paper, I get a review back which is basically saying, I don't like this guy's face, like 2 sentences. And you know what? No, everybody, I mean, we will make several tiers. So the highest tier is if you submit us an ORCID and if you register with your university's email address, because then we know that at least you're at the university employed. This is the only kind of quality assurance we can guarantee at this stage, at the beginning. But I mean, this is the flaw of this. I mean, it's at the end, this whole review process, it's very subjective. It's like it is. We cannot change this. I mean, if you want to change this, then you would need some kind of community ratings. We might also implement this so that we not only have the reviews, we also have maybe some community ratings, but this can also be flawed.